Frank Seravalli, of course, from Daily Faceoff, disclosed that Carolina at least inquired about Mitch Marner. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, not surprising, right? This is a guy that they know he's in a similar, situation as Rantanen, and one of these superstars that is going to be a free agent, and they kick the tires on him. And for me, I guess it's just the Nathan MacKinnon factor in the Rantanen deal, right? Where it's just, I think Colorado thinks that Nathan MacKinnon, pulls that wagon. And obviously Rantanen is a superstar and he's done that. And I think what they believe is they were going to have to overpay a guy that Nathan MacKinnon carries. And I just think Carolina, at the end of the day, you're kicking the tires on Mitch Marner, but he is not the goal scorer that Mikko Rantanen is. And for years, we've watched Carolina fall short come playoff time, finding ways to find the back of the net. So this is a crazy move for them. It'll be interesting to see what happens when they try to meet a number with Rantanen, because we know how cheap Carolina's been in the past over everything, right? They don't want to pay anybody, let alone a superstar. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
Well, let's not forget, I mean, we watched this movie last year to an extent with Jake Guentzel, and they couldn't get the job done, ends up going to the Tampa Bay Lightning. The official quote, by the way, from Frank Seravalli: "I believe that the Carolina Hurricanes at least inquired about Mitch Marner as they were going through the process with Rantanen. I don't know how far they got. I don't know if it's a possibility that maybe they were not a team that Marner would go to." But that was the official quote. It just leads me to wonder, like, let's say hypothetically that went down, and never will. Marner guides his own fate. He's got a full no movement clause, but Natchez and Jury, and you trade Marner. I'm not sure I'd feel great today. I won't lie.
No, I don't know if that is the return you would want. That would be wild, though, right? It's one of those ones where I feel like this would be something that the fans would have to swallow, right? Because there's been so many people that attack Mitch Marner all the time. And I always think it would be interesting to see Mitch Marner in another jersey and seeing him do well somewhere else, and just the effect that would have psychologically on a fan base and the pressure it would bring to whoever gets brought in, right? If it was Natchez, it was Jury, having that black cloud over them all the time. So, and coming to a market where, Martin Necas, he's been in Carolina, right? Like doing his thing. Now, all of a sudden you come in on that trade. So I feel like that is going to be the expectations. But again, if they lose in the free agency, it's going to be one of those ones. I think there will be regret in that sense, but they're trying to win a cup right now.
Well, that's exactly it. Do you think it was easier for Colorado to make a move, as crazy as this one looks, on a guy they knew they couldn't re-sign and that they had an internal cap because they've won a cup in recent memory? Like, I think if we try to draw parallels to Marner, it stops at him being a UFA and Rantanen being a UFA, because I think, and the story came out yesterday, there's still mutual interest between both sides. I don't know, whatever that means, to re-signing. And I just think from Colorado's perspective, it's an easier move to make when you know that you've won. Where Toronto, the pressure's on. I mean, you still think you can win with these guys, right?
Yeah, I agree. I think that is the huge, everyone's always trying to win the cup, right, Nick? Like, this isn't like Colorado's just giving up hope, but I feel like that alleviates some of the pressure, right? And I think that's something we've talked about a lot, where during the regular season, it's so easy to nitpick everything that goes on in Toronto and, of course, the market and the way it is. But there's also that they haven't won anything, right? When Florida has a tough stretch or Vegas has a tough stretch, you're like, well, they just won the cup, or even Colorado for that sake, right? Like, teams that have recently won, you still have that in your, in your thoughts, and like, they're not that far off. Where with Toronto, every blip in the radar, you start to think like, can this team get over the hump, right? And I think that isn't our fault. That's the fact that they haven't done anything, only winning one playoff series in, I don't know how many years it's been, but this is nuts, right? So 20 years, right? One playoff series. So it's like, that's not on us. That's on the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I think they need to be all in. And I feel like that's where they're at. So to let Mitch Marner walk, goddamn, you better be sure you're getting something in return that's going to help you in the playoffs.
Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long-form interviews, we got clips, we got epic rants by Jay Roseau. We simply have it all. And don't forget, you can find out much more at theleafsnation.com. Thanks so much for watching.